everyone. Waiting till people come in the live stream. This will be a nice one. Hello, hello. A week goes so quick, hey? It's already like Friday again. But hey guys. Hello. I just ate something really spicy, so if I'm sweating here, it's not only because it's warm in Australia, but also because I ate something really spicy. Hey, we are waiting for our guest. You probably already see who it is. I actually practiced like 10 minutes to pronounce his name. Oh, it's Friday. Is it Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. Oh my god. I don't even know. Let's wait until he joins. Let me check if he's coming online. Should be. Let's just wait for him. How was your week, guys? It's already evening in Sydney, so I am like drinking a nice wine. Probably must be very weird if you wake up now and you see me drinking wine, but okay. Pizza. No, I ate something with chicken. It was super spicy. Let me send him a message where he is. There he is. Yay. All good. No rush. I'm so warm. Did you guys already prepare some questions for tonight or not? Because you can just drop them and we just capture all the questions and we can ask him later. Martha, you're also here. Hey. I see you. Hey!
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Nice. I just actually said that I'm drinking a sneaky wine.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. on the other side of the planet where you are live streaming now.
Yeah, 11,
Yeah,
11 a.m. How about you? Is
yeah.
it like 10? No,
It's
9?
9, so it's not too bad actually. And it's Friday. I always feel a bit more relaxed. Yeah, but
And
thank you so much that you made time for joining us here.
yeah, of course, of course. I'm curious
Yeah.
to have a little chat.
I actually before I was worked 10 minutes on like pronouncing your name, like your artist name. I'm still like I know it's a bird, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it is
true.
like true cuckoo?
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Yeah?
I started out calling myself just Cuckoo, but when I started publishing music on like streaming services, there was some other artists calling themselves Cuckoo as well around the world. I mean, we're not big or anything, but it
Yeah.
kept crashing, and our albums came in the same list, and so I started thinking about maybe changing. So
Yeah.
hence, I'm the true Cuckoo.
You're the true bird.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well actually everyone also happy all the other people can join for this great live stream. We're gonna dive into some background of you and some things you're working on and your amazing YouTube, which I of course follow because it's truly
thanks.
inspiring. Um, but yeah, and if people have questions, please drop them and we can answer them and there will be probably a few. So
Oh yeah, sure. So I'm
yeah.
wide open.
Okay, cool. Well, let's dive into it. So, actually, I'm super curious. Like, what was the role of music in the early years? of your life? Like, where
Mm.
did it begin?
Well, I've seen pictures of me with, yeah, I guess still in my diapers, playing on my grandma's piano. So there's always been like a fascination of music. I love to sing, always sang little tunes, had a tape recorder with like children's songs. Grew up in Sweden, so I have like fond memories of Swedish children's songs on tape recorders. And I, it's always been music. It's been a reference for all time, I think. But I don't have like a formal musical training. I started playing guitar at one point when I was 10. Well, I have some formal education because when I was 10, I changed schools to a music school. And by music school, it was like a regular school, but with music, one like one lesson per day of music. And that was like I was introduced to sheet music and to music theory and to singing in a choir. It wasn't mandatory to play an instrument, but I started playing the guitar, classical guitar. But I never liked to do my homework, my music homework. So I
Uh,
just couldn't stand it just because of that, and stopped playing guitar. And also,
oh,
there was a similar thing with an electrical organ. We had an organ at home, a little rhythm section, and two manuals that I could play. And I loved playing that, but all I loved was just to play my own little melodies. That was the only thing I did. That's improvising, even as a 7 year old or 6 year old. Just loved to do that. And then video games came along, and I started really appreciating the music in the video games, and naturally trying to play those tunes on the organ that we had. And mom took me to an organ school, which I thought was okay for a little bit, but same thing there. I just couldn't stand doing the homework. So I did the homework in like 2 seconds just by listening by ear, and then I was just sitting there playing my own tunes again.
wow.
Uh,
Wow, it's funny because when I was listening to your music, I also really heard the sounds of an old Nintendo or something.
yeah, yeah, sure. It's uh, it's embedded in my DNA somehow.
Yeah. Wow. But are your parents or are they are they musical or are they like artistic?
Um, I, my my parents divorced when I was like 2 years old, so I don't really remember us being a family. But my
Mm-hmm.
dad, he used to work as a painter, as a set painter at the theater in town. But when they
Mm-hmm.
divorced, we moved to Greece for a brief moment, and then it didn't work out, so we divorced. So my dad has always been in Greece, and he kind of left the graphical side, but he was an artist. And my mom didn't really have any artistic outlets, although she was knitting and sewing clothes a lot. So she's always been into decoration and clothing,
Yeah.
but no artistic job or anything.
No. Yeah, well, I can see like you have a very artistic way of expressing yourself and not only with music, but I also see it in the shapes you use and like the little drawings you make. And so
Yeah.
I really assumed like, oh, your family must be super artistic and like creative.
Uh, I don't know. It doesn't always. I mean, I guess I inherited something from my father and my
Yeah.
brother. I was always drawing as a kid, drawing or playing keyboards, but I didn't have any keyboards for a, for long periods. Just
Mm.
a little organ that we had, and that disappeared at some point. And then, so me and my brother, we always drew like little characters. I always tried to copy Disney characters or like what's the magazine called? Mad, the Mad magazine. It's like weird
Oh,
humor magazine,
yeah.
and it's copying those weird, uh, yeah, characters.
Yeah, that's so cool. I think it combines pretty well right now. Um, and how was the scene like? So you were in Sweden, you grew up in Sweden and
Yeah.
also in Greece, I assume then, or
Well, it only lasted for a year. When
okay.
I was living there, I was just a 1 year old little
Oh.
brat.
Little.
Yeah. So I visited Greece every summer, visiting my father when he was alive, and but yeah, the scene is really difficult to say. I didn't really have take part in any scene as a young dude. I was going to school, and the music in school was really important to me. We were singing in a choir. There
Mhm.
was a lot of like during the spring, we had some spring concert with school, and during Christmas, it was more like Christmas oriented concerts, and some of them were really like big, like
Mm.
involving orchestras and collaborations. And once you grew a little older, you can, and my voice matured. I could sing the bass part in some like I don't know Handel, like Hallelujah choir stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a religious person at all, but there is a lot of musical heritage coming from
Yeah.
those uh, yeah, from that scene. So it's very
Yeah.
natural that to take part in the musical side of those things. Yeah,
So
but
you
the
call you
scene, yeah,
sorry.
no, but
Uh,
the scene is like I remember once I had a friend who was really much into synth music. I didn't really know what it was. I think like Kraftwerk. What was it?
mm,
I had no idea at the time. Or Depeche Mode. I didn't know
mhm.
them, but they played some of that to me, and I was like, yeah, yeah, this is cool. And then he wanted to make like a cover band for Depeche Mode, I think, and he knew that I could play and invited me to the thing, and I started playing a little bit, but very quickly I started to play my own interpretation, and he was like, no, 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 you can't play like that. That's not the way. I was like, oh, come on. So I lasted for like 2 days.
So it was like a band that failed,
Yeah,
basically, the 2 days.
yeah, yeah. Or maybe they didn't fail. Maybe they made it big. I have no idea.
Yeah. But were you a person that always liked to work alone in your own bubble and create from scratch rather than doing your homework and following rules, basically?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Although I must say that I was never causing any trouble in school, and I always did my homework. I mean, for school, what's necessary. I
Yeah.
rarely did the extra work, but I was a good student. But outside of that, yeah, I enjoy to create little projects with my friends too. We've made some video games. Some were more into programming, some were more into to the visual arts, which I was too. And we kind of made little games on the Commodore Amiga platform. And I was introduced to the tracker music, uh, the way of making music through trackers, which is now having a big kind of rebirth.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Wow, that sounds so interesting that you are like, did you, because you were on a school, but did you like went to a musical school after that, or were you diving into music and that was the story, or how did that go?
Um, I was more and more into music and also into animation and drawing. And when I was applying for what's called a gymnasium, what's it called in English,
Yeah.
like junior high, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Um, I I I was thinking I want to apply for a music school because that's where my heart kind of said. So I went to visit some of the music or one of the music schools in town, and I had such a bad impression. I thought they were all slackers. So in my like 15-year-old brain, I felt like, you know, I'll never get a job if I apply for this school. Like kind of trying to make an adult decision at a very young age, which is not recommended. Go with your guts. Don't try
Mm,
to be adults.
mm,
So, so I didn't apply for that school, and I went to a more
mm,
technical school because I was vaguely also kind of dreaming of becoming an architect. But in our school, in our family, we didn't have anyone who has gone through like university studies or anything. We come from a middle class family, I guess.
mhm,
So we didn't really speak about these things too much, like uh, high school, university, and yeah. So that was kind of up to us kids to discover for ourselves. But later on, I, I I went to a Rudolf Steiner school, which has a little bit different kind of pedagogics, and it's a more free approach, but also it kind of gets you ready for university studies in a way because you take notes in a much more adult way, I think, than in
mhm,
the regular school that I went to. So I'm taking
mm.
notes every day, writing your notes, handing in a piece of work from the notes. That was really good for me, I think. And also, it's more of an artistic kind of school.
Yeah.
But later on, I applied for art university and went to animation,
Mm.
the animation faculty.
That sounds like the direction you are more into.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And then you went to animation school, but you still had the heart for music. And when in your sort of childhood or when you became an adult, you made the decision, okay, I think I really want to do music? Like, was there like
Uh,
a time that you decided animation is really cool, but I still think, okay, now I'm gonna just go for it.
I think it was a little bit, I was swaying a bit back and forth, but as long as I couldn't make any money making music in any way, I was always gonna lean on my graphical and animation side
Yeah.
as my main source of income. So um, I think when I graduated from the gymnasium, I made a
Mm-hmm.
special. I wrote a string quartet, uh, and I had a string quartet perform it, and we had rehearsals and stuff. And I was in my head then thinking, I'm gonna apply for a composer university after school, but I didn't make it. They I wasn't accepted. You know, it's the there's a lot of applicants, and very few are picked. So uh, I should have maybe kept going for it, like year after year, and developed this, but I made it into animation instead. So what happened was I was still making music for many of my animations, and I was involved in music. I was making music videos for other bands. I was making live visualization with projectors for contemporary music in Norway when I moved to Norway. And I found all of this extremely interesting. Also, having this constant connection to the music scene here in Oslo, especially, made such a huge impact on me. And also, there was one collaboration with it, which I have to mention. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my first real experience in a band was with an artist called Jenny Val. Back then she was called Rocket to the Sky, and she's amazing, and it made such a huge impact to me being able to work with her. Played keys, and I solved the backing tracks with Ableton Live, and I also like made it possible to play with game controllers and make some rhythm uh, solos with game controllers, and it was such a sweet time. And she's an amazing artist, and had some really good hits on the radio at the time when radio was still a thing. And
Yeah, indeed.
yeah, and we played like 35 concerts in a year, which was amazing. And I had we were like headlining some of the shows,
Oh,
and it made such a lasting, heavy impression on me. And then when I realized that this is gonna end at some point, and she's gonna move on into a more contemporary direction with other musicians and stuff, I was thinking, I have to do more of this. I have to. I love this. So that was kind of the bell that rang.
yeah.
It dang really high in my head,
So
like
it's like a big bang.
big thing. And I've been so thankful for her. You should all check her out.
Yeah.
Jenny Val, very good
Jennifer.
artist.
Okay, I probably will message you after that because I'm always
Yeah,
very curious to the different names. But so you can
yeah.
call her.
Type it here, Jenny Val.
Oh, yes. So I think you can call her your first musical, yeah, teacher or musical inspiration or.
Yeah, in a way, yes. There were many, but this was like the first time I really felt that I was playing synthesizer. I bought my
Wow.
second synthesizer, but my first kind of stage-oriented synthesizer was a Nordly 2X, and I still
Ooh,
have it.
good one.
And yeah, super cute and fun synth.
Ooh.
And I bought it especially for playing with her band. And yeah, but also like the contemporary jazz scene had such a huge impact on me as well. And big shout out to Eyolf Dale and André Roligheten, two like amazing musicians. We made a we made actually a concert together, a production where we were playing for kids, and I was just
Mm.
making visuals, but we were a trio on stage, all three of us, and I was making like interactive visuals, and I was drawing and painting live on stage, and I was connected to Nintendo Wii controllers, so I could kind of control some of the visuals, and then I handed them out into the concert, into the audience, and we were playing this for kids, or for like teenagers and young teenagers, and made over 300 shows in Norway with this production, with the
What?
help of some government programs,
Mm-hmm.
and playing at schools. That was also like getting into the mindset of a touring
Yeah.
musician and what it's like, and the show must go on, and every we didn't cancel a single show. I think maybe there was like one show where the car broke, where I just couldn't make it, and that was like we realized that we can't make it.
Oh no. How did you handle that?
It's really stupid. Like some modern cars, um, it's like an electronic key,
Uh-huh.
and even if it looks like a real key, if
Yeah.
the battery dies in the key, you can't get into the car. And
Oh, that's
it was really weird. We couldn't authenticate ourselves to to drive the car.
oh,
It's really weird. So
you didn't have a Wii controller to open the car or something.
no, I think I can't remember now if we could actually open the car but not start the car.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds sounds actually always like that thing, that electronic stuff sometimes just fails.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like my biggest failure when it comes to the collaboration with Jennifer and one of the concerts, and it was one of the cooler stages. We're like, this this gig it means something to us, and I got him on stage. We had our sound check, everything was fine, and this is more than 10 years ago now,
Mhm.
and computers have evolved dramatically during these 10 years. They're much more stable today than they were then. But what happened was my computer had gone into sleep mode between when I was on stage sound checking and when we were entering the stage for the gig. And the audio interface has kind of lost connection and messed up. So I needed to restart my computer. I didn't realize until like after a couple of minutes, like, oh, oh no, 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 no. And the band had to get off the stage while I was sweating and kind of figuring things out.
Oh no.
I'm more seasoned now, so I would handle it more gracefully now, I think. But that was stressful.
Sounds like I'm here already like, oh, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Maybe like experiences like that
mm,
maybe planted like a seed in my head, like maybe you shouldn't perform with computers that much. I'm not sure.
right.
Maybe
Okay.
that's why I don't perform so much with computers anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like because like you said also in 10 years so much has been developed around computers and what is for you the biggest change from 10 years ago until now? Like what is that for you? Is it like how you perform or is it like how you create music or in which
First
way?
of all, I think I've learned a lot of yeah. So this was back in 2008 or
Mm,
seven, even eight, and when we were performing on bigger festivals, um, people were extremely curious and rushing to the stage, and it was this almost childish uh, energy coming from the crowd. And I hadn't performed like those big big concerts like that. Just a few, maybe recently a couple of years ago in Durham in Mogfest. That was
mm.
the first time in years that I experienced some of that like childlike energy again. Like didn't realize that it would be packed. I came out on stage and oh, holy crap, it's actually packed. And I heard afterwards it's sold out. I had to close the door and I had this childish energy. But I think it has changed a little bit because you're so used to seeing concerts and everything is
Hmm.
available online. YouTube was barely getting started over there back then,
10 years
and
ago.
now and now like YouTube is a standard way of getting your daily fix or whatever you need.
Hmm.
So just the mindset has changed, I think, in how you appreciate and approach music, both on the performer side, but also on the receiving side. I
Hmm.
think, and also, I mean, even though computers are extremely stable now, I wouldn't feel nervous at all trusting a computer and able to live and to use that. But at the same time, it's become this um, division
Hmm.
between uh, what's actually happening live and what's
Hmm.
actually just being played back.
Hmm.
And if you go up live on a stage, I find it much more interesting to have as much as possible on the live performance side than on the on the yeah playback side.
Yeah.
But at the same time, um, like sequencers today, like with the introduction of Electron sequencer in the last 10 years,
Mhm.
they changed the game. I think you can do so extremely much with Electron sequencer, and it's prepared, hence, or and therefore it could be perceived as playback, but you can reach into it, and it could still be organic, and it's not
Mhm.
just a press play on tape situation. It's more, it's something you work with
Yeah.
when you're performing. So performing electronic music, I think, has on the performance side evolved a lot the last 10
Mhm.
years. And I think the two machines, did they come out? Hold on a second. Um,
Get them.
did these come out in the same year? I think they both had like a 10-year anniversary. This is the
Oh, they
later
had it.
model, but
Yeah.
it's like the Octatrack and the OP1.
Yeah.
They both celebrated like a 10-year anniversary. And just
10
thinking
years.
about, yeah, uh, a machine nowadays is not usually produced over 10 years. It doesn't stay in production for 10 years. It's very
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah.
And they both respectively kind of changed the game, didn't they?
They did. I see a lot of people having them both, actually. I see a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
artists traveling a lot, or, well, maybe a bit less right now, but it's just really easy to draft, I guess, an idea, or um, I don't know, how do you work with it? Like, are you drafting ideas quicker, or, uh, yeah.
I think with the OP1, it came out around the time when I I had a lot of doubts in myself. I made an album and I thought it was great, but nobody knew about it, so nothing happened. And I was working on my second album. I
Hmm.
just felt like it wasn't good enough. I didn't like it enough to finish it, and I was having trouble. And then I started working on animation script instead. But around that time, this guy came along. So the OP1 came out, and I loved it so much immediately. And I started working on it, using it, and making little sketches, making cute little tunes, making more experimental or game oriented, whatever. I just thought it was so much fun. It gave me joy. And this
Hmm.
joyful ingredient was something that maybe I had kind of lost at some point at that time. And it came back with the OP1. Loved it. And I've been using it in different ways, like for sketching out music, for improvising on stage, starting out with a radio signal and just capturing stuff there and going from there. Just very unpredictable. You never know what you get. And for more of a solo instrument, or I don't know. But with the Octatrack, this
Hmm.
became more of a like a stage performance um, powerhouse,
I
mother
just want to
thing.
work, of course.
Yeah, and I think my workflow with the Octatrack is very different from the Octa1. I rarely start with the Octatrack. It's more I start in a DAW. I start in Logic Pro, making like the sketch in Logic, and then coming to maybe a 25% into the song, I started to get a structure, have some sounds, and then I think, wow, let's make this sound really good now, and put it on the Octatrack, and take it from there. So when you kind of sketch it out in the computer, you could do anything. You could add reverbs, you could do nice EQing, you can mix it really well, and then taking that out of the computer onto the Octatrack and just chopping it up. And that is giving me a way to get out of of the predictable songwriting um,
Hmm.
route and come into a platform where I could surprise myself a little bit. Because in the DAW, I still sometimes struggle and I get into patterns that I'm not really happy with. So when I put on the Octatrack, suddenly new ways, new doors open up and it becomes fun.
Yeah, sounds like
So
you
yeah,
really like to get off the grid and like
yeah,
just
yeah,
improve.
yeah.
Yeah.
So an
How do
album that I
you?
published, yeah, just an album I published last year, was it? Or no, 2 years
you
ago now, was an album I called Not Pop, and that
hmm
is yeah, an album where I worked that exact way. I was starting out in computer, taking it to the Octatrack, making the performance like a 90% performance on the Octatrack,
hmm
recording that and finishing it off in the computer. And
Yeah.
that is like a really nice workflow for me. I really enjoy that.
Would you recommend it for people that are beginning? Like, I just don't know anything, and I just think like, oh, I wanna improvise because that's maybe easier sometimes to start off with music. Would you recommend the Octa track for beginners?
No, I would I would probably recommend the Digitact as a beginner's electron sampler sequencer. It's much more straightforward, much easier to work with. It's a bit limited, but it has, yeah, it's easier to teach, easier to learn. Whereas with the Octatrack, it's very open,
Mm,
so that is making it kind of hard to distinguish how you want to work with it, because you kind of have to ask yourself what you want to do with the Octatrack. It's not
yeah.
clear. You can do a lot with it, but it's kind of loose.
hmm
So I know a lot of people get very frustrated the first time they get their hands on the Octatrack, me included.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I cracked the code at some point, and that become just something I know how to use, and then it's all fine. It's super
Yeah.
cool.
Masterminding, basically.
I got a helping hand from Jank from Electron at the
Ah,
time. He just gave me like a short introduction that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. But then, you know, everyone I know, they use the Octatrack differently.
mhm.
So whereas on the Digitact, I think most people use it more or less the same way.
Yeah. Do you have also, you have modular, right? Modular.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you combine it as well with the Octa track?
No, not really. I think I really enjoy performing on one instrument at a time. So I try to minimize every time I perform. Maybe two, but if I connect too much stuff, I get a little bit distracted and I feel like, um, yeah, I really enjoy maximizing every platform that I use and make the most use of every little device. So with the modular and an Octatrack, I could, yeah, I could probably set up a good workflow or a good like relationship between them. But still, I think there's something, I wouldn't say iconic, but something very satisfying. With this is all coming from this one little thing, and it's all in here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get that feeling. Like if you maybe have too many devices, you get overwhelmed, then maybe it's just good to focus on one and like be a master of that tool.
Mm.
Um,
But
yeah,
I think also in the kind of genreless genre that I make, um, I think I really not, I really enjoy to change the mood quickly. But the more stuff you've got connected, the more, the slower it kind of gets. If you want to change something, you need to
Mm-hmm.
be in many places at once. Where if you just have one device, you just need to be in one place, which
Yeah.
is easier when you're performing alone. But for other genres like progressive, like electronica, dance-oriented music, you don't need that. You don't need to be quick. You need to be like progressively building up,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes more sense maybe then to have a bigger variation in your setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, so how is your creative process working or starting? So is it always the same or do you change up like devices? Yeah, I just hear sometimes you use like the DAW or anything like that. Is that always the same or you like me, I always use different stuff, but maybe you were totally different.
Um, I think it's different. It depends what I want to do as well. If I'm aiming for recording music and
Mm-hmm.
making a track, then I think the DAW is always there very early on in the process. But if I'm thinking more about a set, then it's something
Mm,
different. Then it's like, okay, it's going to be this device, and maybe I need a keyboard. And I think more about creating the set, which is much more hardware oriented, I think.
mm-hmm.
I'm looking on my cupboard here on the side.
What is there?
Um, Synthesizers.
Yeah, dumb
Maybe,
question. Yeah.
maybe. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna
Oh wow. And you keep all your boxes?
hold on. No, I don't. I try not to.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Otherwise you can build a house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh wow, no way. It's like a library, like literally how books are standing, you have synthesizers standing.
Yeah, I built this cupboard myself, like
Oh, I love
tailored
it.
for these things here. So I got, yeah, lots of favorites here, and of course I can't use everything. And also now I'm in a position where um some companies send me stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and because of my YouTube channel, and people want to see their musical instruments on my channel. So if I didn't have the popularity on YouTube, I wouldn't have gotten all this stuff. It's just too expensive. But it's
Mm-hmm.
also there. Yeah, I'm very fortunate because I can work with some of the people that I really care about, like this Moog Matriarch. What a
Oh,
fantastic synth. And this is my
what do
first
you
stage synth, the Nordly 2X, right next to it.
you
That I
still have
bought
it?
like,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, it's still here. And yeah, can you see this? Yeah, I bought this like the first moment they released it. I just wanted to buy it because I thought it was beautiful. I don't
Uh,
really use it, but I guess I'm a teenage engineering fanboy, so
mm.
I, I bought
I
it.
think that they are also from you.
Yeah, and then this here,
Yeah.
the Mega FM,
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
which is an FM synthesizer based on the Sega Mega Drive chip by Yamaha.
So cool. Mm-hmm.
And also, it's the same thing. It's just when I learned about it, I was like, oh, whoa, this is my dream synth because my heritage comes from this synth, from this
Uh-huh.
chip. It's like a sound. Apart from Nintendo, it's Sega Mega Drive. Those sounds have made
Yeah.
such a huge impact on me.
Did you learn that by yourself, or were you also watching YouTube clips yourself,
Yeah,
or
I think it's a combination of watching YouTube and someone saying, "Hey, you should check this out. It's right up your alley." And yeah, I don't know actually how. And after some time, I also started going to like music shows, like the NAM show and the Musikmesse and Super Booth. And that's a great place to kind of browse. In the
Mm.
beginning, I was just following those trade fairs from YouTube, which truthfully is a better way to to experience it. Because when you go there, it's so noisy, you can't see everything, and you don't know where to go. It's like, well, where to go? Where's the interesting stuff? But whereas,
Ah,
for,
hi.
yeah, exactly like that. But from the comfort of your home, you can just type in the NAM show video reviews, and then you see like everything.
So good. It's like
Yeah,
it's so a little bit addictive as well because you click on one and then you think like, oh, I can check the other one, and then it's already like hours later.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you have your own YouTube, and that's also a little bit I would love to talk with you about because yeah, it grew to a massive account of subscribers, and it's really impressive what you're doing, and
Thank you.
yeah, just yeah, it's really cool. So I'm just wondering, so you had one time you had an idea like, oh, let's go on YouTube and let's
I think I think it started out with from my animation days. I was thinking, oh, YouTube, this is cool. I should put up my animations on YouTube. So I did that, and and nobody really watched it. But and then I made some music videos for some bands, and I was allowed to put them on my YouTube channel, and yeah, it was just. And at some point, I started making a video about my musical performance, and I felt like maybe I should put those on a different channel. So I started
mm,
my Cuckoo channel, and nobody knew about it, of course, so nothing happened. But slowly, and especially when this launched, I made a lot of
mm,
videos with this, and a lot of people were interested in that. And at some point, I made a video where I did a performance about a song with a song called Goodbye, where I decided to stop making music because I felt I didn't have what I wanted. And that song got so much response and positive response. So it became my more of a restart for me. I realized that, hey, people actually connect to this for real. So
mhm.
that gave me hope again. So I continued.
Yeah,
I think it
amazing.
was around 2010 something.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think that's sometimes the thought that people have. Like you start your YouTube channel and suddenly you have so many followers, but it took you quite some time to.
Oh yeah. It's still. I mean, it's growing, but it's not. It's a little bit exponential, but it's not like super exponential. It's more linear. It's still growing, but not in a crazy pace. I don't try to please the
Mhm,
crowd in any way. I try to stay true to myself. I try to make videos that I find interesting myself. And music, it's all about deep down. I think it's about music and not about technology, which I've heard people really appreciate, and maybe it sets me a little bit apart from review channels where
mhm,
people, which is, I mean, a review channel is a much more, um, let's say, it's a channel you can trust, always present some gear that you might be interested in at a steady pace. But I don't feel like it's not where I want to be. So it's more about a music inspirational journey.
yeah, there's a lot of depth in your videos, I think, and I think that's connecting pretty well with the audience you have. Um, my
Yeah,
observation.
thanks. Thanks. A couple of
Yeah.
days ago, I posted my first YouTube short, and I've never done any shorts. I've done it's like short videos here on Instagram, but on YouTube, I kind of avoided the shorts format. And
Mm-hmm.
I posted a short where I asked my followers if they are interested in shorts, and a lot of people said like you, of course, do what you want, whatever pleases you, but they seem to really appreciate that I don't comply with this quick fix YouTube short format thing, and really happy to see that people appreciate that. I just keep doing my format. If it's long, it's long, and it's I like it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I think that's beautiful. Um, yeah, I'm wondering, so yeah, like there has been a lot of development the last few years. A lot went to YouTube and also shows. And especially now during the pandemic, I guess a lot of people are searching a way to express themselves or to show themselves. And would you think like YouTube is a great platform to do that if you just start off?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so. I think YouTube is so big, so it could be a little bit intimidating to get started on YouTube. Uh, but it is an open platform. It's just to get some of the pro features, you need to have a certain amount of followers, I think, still.
Mm,
And to get ad revenue, there is like a certain amount of followers and some criteria must be met. So, as a complete beginner, it might seem like you're not welcome, which is a little bit of a bummer. You can't do, you can't take part in all these fancy features. I think is a bummer too. But maybe it's a way for them to protect their platform from spam or from like users that take advantage of the platform in a malicious way. I'm not sure.
mm,
I could see that being the main reason. But there's a lot of smaller startups that also have videos and live shows, and I don't know the names of these. Personally, I'm using YouTube as my main video platform.
yeah,
Uh, some people sometimes ask me I should if I'm interested in Twitch. I don't really
yeah.
know Twitch that well, but I know a lot of people really like Twitch, and it has a maybe a more an easier way to start for starting out, maybe. And I'm using Patreon as a way of um, yeah to connect to like core fans if they really want to support you. You can do it through uh, through YouTube too, but I think it's the same thing there. You need to meet certain criteria before you can access those functions, which is a bummer.
Hmm.
But at Patreon, there's no such arbitrary uh, thing. You need to be this popular in order to use. No, you can just start using it from day one, and I'm finding that nice. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds great. I hold you already so long here, but I think, one question, and then we maybe ask audience if they have some questions.
yeah, sure.
Um, but we talked a lot about your past, and it's super great because can make the connections, and I think a lot of us can make the connection to your music and how you got into it. And but how does a day of right now look like for you? How is one day filled up?
Yeah, one. I have a family. I have a son and a stepson. We're a family of four. We have a cat, five, family of five. And so usually get up in the morning. I'm usually the first one to get up, and I'm taking care of the breakfast routines and making a little lunchbox for my son. making sure he's getting off to school in time. And that's like the first morning routine. My stepson, he's at 18, so he should be fine. And after that, I take a walk to my studio. It's kind of close, so I used to ride a bicycle, but it's too close, so I don't get the time to reset. But I take a walk, it's like 10 or 15 minutes, go through the park, try to not look at the phone, and get to the studio. And hopefully during that walk, I have kind of set my goal for the day, but not
Mhm.
always. Sometimes it's a little bit scattered. And I get to the studio, and this is a place to kind of reset for me, kind of forget about my personal life and reset. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes I have something that I really want to do right now, and I start doing it. But it's if I want to do a video about a certain thing, for instance, a tutorial, then I work with that instrument for a couple of days until I know it, and then I start shooting a video. And usually I shoot for about at least twice as long as the video is in the end. So if the video is 1 hour, I definitely shoot for 2 hours, maybe three. And then if it's a 3 hour shoot, it's very tiring. So I
Can you
get to
imagine?
have a really good lunch, and sometimes I make my own lunch. Sometimes I get out. I try to make real. I have a pressure cooker. I make some real nice lunch here. But yeah, I try to stay focused. But to be honest, it's difficult sometimes because of notifications and suddenly checking something out. And yeah, it's like for me, as with for everyone else, you get stuck in the loop of checking stuff.
The
Where
loophole.
yeah, why are you checking all this stuff? Throw your phone away. So I've developed a small, it's not really a habit, but when I catch myself in the loop, I said, take the phone, place it in a pocket in my jacket that hangs by the door. It's nowhere to be found.
That's great advice.
Yeah, yeah. But that's kind of the daily routine. I try to play piano for at least half an hour every
Hmm.
day. And also, what else do I try to do every day? Um, Maybe I spend too much time actually replying to comments, but I find it, yeah, I can't stop myself from doing it because
Yeah,
when people reach out, I don't reply to everything, but I reply to a lot.
it's
It
nice.
feels
It's nice
meaningful.
to connect, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, let's see if people have some questions here. Oh, there's someone. Uh, would you be disappointed if a viewer connects with your personality more than your music?
Sorry, if you connect more to
Uh, would you be disappointed if a viewer connects with your personality